Hello, Dave Hickman here. Today's repertoire topic is about cornet solos by Herbert Clarke. Herbert Clarke was America's foremost cornet soloist. He was born in 1867 in Massachusetts, was essentially self-trained, and became the cornet soloist with the Gilmore Band for several years. And after Gilmore died, that band was essentially reformed by John Philip Sousa, and he became Sousa's cornet soloist for many, many years. Clarke was an amazing composer who wrote a lot of solos for the instrument. Towards the end of his life, he decided to become a conductor. This was because he had a lip accident. There were times that the Sousa band would be on tour for months, playing 3 concerts a day, and most of those concerts were outdoors. So that's why the cornet was such a popular solo instrument. And of course, playing in the band plus being a cornet soloist was very, very tiring to play that many concerts. But the months in between those tours, sometimes he didn't do much playing at all. I know that for one period of time, for a year, between tours, he became principal trumpet in the New York Philharmonic, which he didn't particularly enjoy because they made him play trumpet instead of cornet. He also played for a number of months as principal in the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra. But after one of these periods where he went about a year doing some teaching but very little practicing and playing, he got a call from the Sousa band asking him to be in New York City in about 1 week for a world tour, which was to go for 10 months. So he very quickly got in the best shape he could, went to New York, and they rehearsed very heavily for several days, then went on this world tour where he played 3 concerts a day. Again, outdoor concerts, really heavy playing. About halfway through that tour, he tore some ligaments in his upper lip right here and was really hobbling along. He had trouble playing at all. He eventually had Frank Simon take some of the solos and do most of the heavy lifting in the band. So by the time he finished that world tour, which was his last tour with the Sousa band, he really couldn't play at all. And after struggling with that for several more months, he decided that it was time just to hang up the cornet. Ren Schilke, who studied with Clarke, was a friend of mine, and Schilke told me the story that Clarke had been telling people that the reason he retired at the young age of 50 was because he had seen his boyhood hero, Jules Levy, play long after his prime. And it was very sad to see him play not nearly as well as he had played when he was younger. So he vowed that that would never happen to him, and that he had made a deal with himself that he's going to retire at the age of 50, whether he's in his prime or not. But that wasn't the real reason. It was really due to this lip injury. Clarke's autobiography was published by a series of articles in a magazine called Jacob's Band and Orchestra Monthly. That magazine's long been gone now, but when I taught at the University of Illinois from 1974 to 82, I used to enjoy going to the Herbert Clarke Library. And the Clarke Library is next to the John Philip Sousa Library, which used to be housed in the Harding Band Building. And I used to spend all my weekends sitting on the floor going through boxes of correspondence and photographs of Clarke and so forth. And I was given permission to take photographs of a lot of those things. And so I found those articles, the 24 articles over a 2-year period that he wrote, called Cornet Playing Pilgrim's Progress. And it basically talks about from his time he was born through the time he retired. The book was later put together, those articles, as a little booklet published by the Holton Company. And Holton Instruments put it out because Frank Holton, who was the trombone player in the Sousa band, he was a very close friend with Clarke. And so after they both had left the Sousa band, Holton started an instrument company, and Clarke developed a Clarke model cornet. So they had a close connection. Well, the Holton Company back in the 1960s reprinted those as kind of a free gift for people that wanted them. But that booklet has been out of print now for decades. So I have assembled the 24 articles, and it's Clarke's autobiography with the original name, A Cornet Playing Pilgrim's Progress. And so all 24 series are in here, and then I've added dozens and dozens of photographs of Clarke and others that make it a little more interesting. So that's available through Hickman Music Editions. And Clarke is also very well known. You probably know him mainly for his books. He wrote 4 instruction books: elementary studies for beginners, technical studies, characteristic studies, and setting up drills. They're all now in the public domain. He published them himself, but after the sales became so large, he turned it over to Carl Fisher Incorporated in New York. And so I have now taken these books and put them together, all 4, into one booklet called Clarke Studies. And it has all 4 of the books in there, and I've added a few photographs and comments and so forth about how to play those exercises. The Clarke Studies book is also available in bass clef. I've published 10 of his solos. We have Carnival of Venice, The Southern Cross, which he composed on a John Philip Sousa tour going across the ocean to Australia. Maid of the Mist, On the Shores of the Mighty Pacific, Sounds from the Hudson, The Debutante, Cousins for trumpet, cornet, and trombone and piano, Bride of the Waves, Showers of Gold, and his very popular Stars in a Velvety Sky. When I was president of the International Trumpet Guild back in 1977, the ITG decided to reissue all of Clarke's cornet solos on modern LP. And we took the original cylinders, and of course those have been transferred by the Edison Company to the 78 RPM discs, and then those were later by ITG put into a 33 RPM disc, which was released on the Crystal Records label. That record is now available on Crystal as a CD, and I think every trumpet cornet player needs to have this. So I'd like to end today's topic on Clarke by listening to Herbert Clarke play his rendition of Stars in a Velvety Sky.
Thank you.